be talking about today. We're flying through today's show. We just talked about Kirk Cousins. Coincidentally, Anthony Richardson, rookie quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, we have him ranked at 14, right behind him in our consensus rankings, but that's where we really differ. Jacob Bartley has him as the QB 11 going into 2023. I have him at the QB 18. But Jacob, the floor is all yours. Why should people draft Anthony Richardson as a QB1 this year?
Okay, can we just clip my stuff from last week and just insert it here? Because I feel like every week I'm giving this same talk about Anthony Richardson, and it's just like, I'll keep it short and sweet this time around. Like, we know what the rushing ability can do for these quarterbacks. He's going to propel there. I talked about Shane Steichen. He was Jalen Hurts' offensive coordinator last year. He's now the head coach in Indianapolis, and he believes in Anthony Richardson. He wanted to get him. That's his guy. Anthony Richardson has this, chosen one mentality in him, meaning that he wants to be one of the greats. His heroes are Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Like, he wants to be one of the greats. And like, I don't sense that in a lot of like every quarterback, right? Like, but I do sense, like, he comes out and says it. I love that confidence. And you and I talk about it a lot. Like, we kind of been following him since, like, just keeping an eye on him since his college career, because we had him in a Devy league. So I just really believe in the talent. If that situation leads to like Jonathan Taylor not playing, I think it's possible that he has an even greater rushing season. So I said it last week. I have him as a bottom of the top 12. So like a QB1, but a low end QB1. But he has the ceiling to finish as a top 5 guy if that rushing really hits.
I don't know where to start. I just don't know where to start. The talent is undeniable, and the narratives there are perfect. Like, who could also be a rushing quarterback? I even tried to go back and look at Jalen Hurts' rookie year. He didn't really get starting action until like the last 4 weeks of the season. And actually, dude, have you looked at Jalen Hurts' last 4 weeks of his rookie season? He went freaking bananas. He 20, 37, 20, and 17. So not bananas, but he had some freaking
showed a lot of promise. Yeah.
Showed a lot of promise. The thing is, though, is that Anthony Richardson is probably going to start week 1. And I'm just saying, if you're drafting him at that price tag, like, it's going to be rough sledding to start the fantasy season. I think right now, according to NFC, he's technically a sleeper QB at this point. So, Jacob, you have him much higher than the consensus of just like general rankings that I've seen. But still, let me read you a stat. This is a Sports Illustrated article. I'll list it down in the comments below. 66 quarterbacks have been selected in the first round of the NFL draft. When you compare that to fantasy, only 3 of them, Jacob, which is 4.5%, have finished with more than 300 fantasy points. Now, why does that matter? Well, because according to where you have him at 11, now obviously this actually benefits you, Richardson would have to reach the QB 9 this year to achieve 300 fantasy points. So, appropriately, you have him ranked just outside QB 11. All right. But we go further into this, and it says that only 6 quarterbacks, including those 3, which means 9% of the 66 quarterbacks selected in the first round, have scored over 250 fantasy points. He'd have to be QB 15 to reach that mark, which is where I start to get a little fancy and disagree with you on that. I just think if history is in his favor, it's not going to go well for Anthony Richardson in year 1. Not to mention, clip out everything that I've said about Anthony Richardson over the last 6 weeks and input it here. He's only thrown 400 pass attempts at a 53% clip in college. Young and Stroud, his rookie comparisons, have thrown over 700 passes in college. Deshaun Watson was the only rookie to put up 24 points per game in his rookie season, and he only played 7 games because he tore the ACL. Yes, I get it. Shane Steichen, blah, blah, blah. I still think it's a long, grueling season in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, Jacob. Yes, you have him ranked pretty high. But in terms of like consensus and NFC draft rankings, like he's like the 15th quarterback off the board right now. He is definitely the dart throw that you need to take at quarterback to take your team to the next level. But that's only because I think he can help you in the back half of the season. If you start him and roll him out there week one as your quarterback one, and that's what I think Jacob's kind of referring to, and correct me if I'm wrong, he's not going to do that for you. At least I don't believe so. And I just like the guys that are more ahead of him, especially at that point where you want consistency on your fantasy football team. I mentioned them earlier, guys like Dak, Tua, and Hurt. They're easy. You know what you're going to get, and that's what I prefer. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. And not only that, you said that the Taylor drama, the Jonathan Taylor drama, sure, yes, it could lead him to, but what if it doesn't? What if Jonathan Taylor leaves and that's the scheme now? How many plays is Anthony Richardson going to rush a game? 20? Like, teams are going to zone in on him, and I just don't like it. I will say this. In all the research that I did, he walks into one of the best situations for a rookie in the NFL. The offensive line was great last year to some extent. The defense was great. He's got a plethora of tall weapons around him: Michael Pittman, Alex Pierce, Jelani Woods. So the components are there. And if Jonathan Taylor plays, obviously that's good too. But there's so much going against him in his rookie season, and that's why I have him ranked at quarterback 18. And Jacob, you have him at number 11. Any closing thoughts?
I don't want to see him on any of your teams this year.
Well, we already have 6 teams that have drafted, and he's on none of them. And if you don't remember, I had a couple of 1-2 picks this year, and I've traded out of them all. So I'm sticking to my guns. But what did I say, Jacob? He's a dart throw worth having. I did say that. You can't rule me out. Let us know your thoughts on Anthony Richardson. Is he a top 12 quarterback for fantasy? What do you think? And as always, we appreciate you.